Yeah, I forgot about some Saturn-like games. So there's this game called Cyberlancer, which has a very big Virtua-On vibe, but I somehow managed to forget about it. Yep. That sure is me. Either way, it's made by these three people, and it's probably gonna be out someday. I don't know, with indie games. But honestly, this really replicates very well the feeling I have when playing Virtua-On. Except this time it's more about fighting your enemies instead of fighting another robot. And the music is by Victor Kraus, who makes a lot of bangers. Either way, that combined with the blue skies and the low poly models and the destructible cities is just a vibe. Go ahead and try it, it's free, unlike the other games in this video. But yeah, full version is coming out someday, I think. I'm waiting for House of Necrosis. Either way, now that we started talking about indie games, we must talk about Tori. I wasn't sure what aesthetics these low-budget platformers represented, but then Ciactro, the developers behind Tori, was like, what if we called the next Tori game Tori Saturn? And you know what? This is a Saturn game now, with the low-poly graphics, the linear worlds on floating platforms, the kawaii music that doesn't belong on PlayStation due to the further than excellent CD quality of the soundtrack. It's all there, the pieces are all together to create a very Saturnish game, except for maybe Tori Genesis. Tori Genesis, as implied, as more of a Genesis / Mega Drive vibe. Oh, and also watch out, Tori has some very spook moments. The two strayed far away from the horror concept, and Tori Saturn is probably gonna do the same thing. Which, I mean, it's not that much of a problem. We already have enough cute but creepy games, and this one kinda needs to stand out above the crowd. At least if it's going in that direction. However, Ciactro, if you do not mind, I have not forgotten about tasty ramen. You can take your time, but still. Oh, and also, you know what's rich? Nobody, absolutely nobody has told me that Freedom Planet 2 was out, at the very least on PC. The thing about Freedom Planet 1 is that it felt more like a Sega CD game rather than a Sega Saturn game. The graphics were as crunchy as the Sega Genesis, but there still was a CD quality soundtrack as well as some voice acting. But while I absolutely loved the game, Sonic Mania kind of feel more like a Sega Saturn game. But apparently Freedom Planet 2 has fixed that, because just look at it, it feels like a Saturn game that could have come out in Japan. But unfortunately, I spent all of my money on 24 Killers, and Bomb Rush Cyberpunk came out. I might be made of salt, but still, it's a Sega Saturn game and you ought to know about it. So yeah, that's it. Either way, right now we need to talk about WayForward. WayForward have already done quite a few Saturn likes already. But before we get onto those, the thing about Mighty Switch Force 2 is that you play as a firefighter. Yep, Vanessa used to be a cop, now she's a firefighter. That's what we call character development. Either way, we all love the Burning Rangers song. At least, I think. Wait. You know what? We're gonna put the credits over that song. You're my rescue girl, you can save the world, and I don't remember the lyrics, cause rescue me, come and find me free, and all, rescue girl. Either way, I thought that sounded like Burning Rangers, which is pretty neat. Either way, now we have to talk about Clockwork Knight again. Well, at first the Shantae games were pretty much 16-bit Genesis games, of Genie went ahead and said, hey, why not 2.5D? And now Shantae has the Clockwork Knight energy all over again. And the best part is that the music also has some Sega Saturn vibes. Oh yeah, that's right. I still have yet to play Shantae and the Seven Sirens, but it has the same kind of graphics, so that counts! Either way, I think we're done with the indie section, so might as well talk about FMVs. There were actually quite a few FMV games on Sega Saturn, including one that never came out. FMV games had weird pixels, very compressed audio, and weird menus too, and sometimes the actors didn't talk, it was just a normal visual novel. And the Centennial Case is probably an evolution of FMV games in general. So if you liked FMV games on the Saturn, maybe that would help. But no, I accidentally lied in the last video by saying, Nintendo was the only one doing FMV games, because Rayman Raving Rabbids also had FMV, but after these Rabbids were done being funny, I like the Raving Rabbids humor more than Rayman's. It's more based on absurdity and slapstick, but that's another story for another time. Either way, we have again on the Nintendo DS. It's a first-person visual novel adventure, but using FMV actors. But instead of being like, ooh, look at my cheesy acting, it's just text. Probably because it's by the same people who made Hotel Dusk as well as Elite Beat Agents, as well as Another Code. So you know what? I'm fine with that. It's too bad Sing went bankrupt after making this game. Well, I kinda was part of the problem because I bought it at $10, so I apologize to the Gamer Nation. The Gamer Nation, I don't know if they would like me that much. But since we're talking about old school visual novels, there's Lux-Pain. Lux-Pain's 2D art is kind of impressive on the DS, and the text spoken by the voice actors isn't the same as the written text for some reason, but it definitely feels like a Saturn game with a much darker atmosphere. And you know what? I like it. It also has some touchscreen gameplay elements, which are interesting but also can get in the way sometimes. I still absolutely love it, but it was released at the time where critics were like, there's too many cutscenes, so it got mixed reviews. But nowadays, maybe if it was re-released, it would be interesting to see people's reactions to it. We'll see, we'll see. Another visual novel for the DS that's quite dark is 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors, or Zero Escape 1. It's a very grim visual novel with a very dark atmosphere and with the idea of people being like, ooh, we're stuck in a game! A death game. But by the way, the game was made before Danganronpa. Ha 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 ha! Well, Danganronpa is often silly, cool, and dramatic at the same time. Zero Escape is much less cheesy. Plus, I like its characters much more. But it's still an escape room game that uses perfectly the hand-drawn 2D graphics of the Nintendo DS. There is a bit of FMV there, but it's mostly static 2D graphics. It feels like a darker, grittier Saturn game, with some rather gory elements. And that's kinda it, I think. But there was one game I kinda forgot, and I'll save this one for last. It's Batman, the Brave and the Bold. Also developed by WayForward. I kinda expected the DS version to be the one to look straight up like a Sega Saturn port, but the thing is that the Wii version has animated cutscenes, but also less animated cutscenes where Batman and friends just talk. It reminds me of the Battle Arena Toshiden game, or even the Cotton games, and I really like that. The level designs are a mix of platforming and beat-em-ups. It's just that the game was overlooked when Batman Arkham Asylum was out on the other consoles, and the critics were like, This isn't Batman Arkham Asylum! Why is this here? But yeah, the game is now $10, so if you want some Saturn aesthetic, there you go. Either way, I don't have any other ideas on Saturn games, so might as well leave you here. Please like and subscribe, and also if you want, you can comment. And commenting helps a whole lot with the algorithm, so here you go.